Sooners, the Oklahoma Sooners. Huge loss to TCU. Absolute nightmare. Brent Venables, we talked about Venables with the on Saturday. What's going on with that defense? Does he just need a little bit more time? What is going on with that team? And then I said a tweet on Saturday. I said maybe it's just Venables needs a lot more time because this defense is just not showing what they need to. They lose Dylan Gabriel in the middle of the game. I can't say that's the reason for the loss because they were already getting their butts kicked. That was a terrible hit, by the way. I think they need to find a way to
Yeah.
get that out of the game. Uh, Maybe even farther than targeting. Targeting is a very controversial call. I understand why they do it, but the way they do it sometimes is not the best way, depending on what kind of refs you got out there. We saw a whole bunch of different kind of refs this weekend. I know there was some Big 12 refs that really had a hard time in the game in some of the games this week. But regardless, hope Dylan Gabriel's all right. We're still waiting on some word on what's going to happen. Maybe it's today on some of the conferences. Maybe Brent Venables will say something. Regardless, they lost against TCU. We saw them lose against Kansas State. That's two bad losses in a row. They jump out of the top 25. This was a team that started number 6 in the country. We didn't think that they were going to be this bad of a football team by any means. When you see Brent Venables' name after his success in Clemson, this isn't something that he was just hiding behind Dabo Sweeney. Brent Venables is a great football mind. He deserves, doesn't deserve, but he has the opportunity to make a good football team. This is not his team yet. Even with the transfer portal, they have an opportunity to make that team faster, but it's not his team yet. Oklahoma just needs to be patient, but that's not something that Oklahoma fans know how to do.
Yeah.
So what is wrong with Oklahoma and what needs to happen? Is it time to panic?
Well, I think for this year, if you're expecting to go to a major New Year's Bowl, yeah, you got to start panicking because I'm not sure you're going to get there. I mean, Venables and his defensive coordinator, the Grinch that stole victories, I think I heard somebody call them, Alex Grinch. They're trying to install their defensive schemes and their philosophy with players that they didn't recruit. Like you said, it's not their team yet. I think that's why it's showing so much in Oklahoma. They don't really quite have the athletes that they need to fit what they want to do defensively. They've never been great defensively, and then just past weekend, they might as well have taken all the pads off their defensive players and given them those little red capes that bullfighters do and do the Olay stuff because it was all Olaying. They weren't making tackles. I mean, it was really, it was disturbing. And offensively, they've had as many points as they put up over the years. They've had problems with consistency on offense. Gabriel has made some costly mistakes at bad times. Penalties are just killing them. They get drives going, and they're jumping offside, or there's a taunting. There's some kind of stupid penalty every game. It's a transition year. I wouldn't panic if I was a real dyed in the wool Sooner fan. I would be upset this year. I might look at other games to watch on Saturdays rather than watching the Sooner game all the way through. You can cheat and go back. I don't see this turning around. And again, I was drinking the Venables Kool-Aid, and the Oklahoma was going to win the Big 12 and run away and hide with it. And it has been anything but that. It makes me sad to one degree because even though I'm certainly not an Oklahoma fan, I like it when Oklahoma's good. I like it when Oklahoma's in the national championship discussion.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not in the discussion for that. I don't even know that they're going to get, well, they'll get some kind of decent bowl because fans travel. People want to tune in and watch Oklahoma, but this is just not going to be the Sooners year, unfortunately.
I am tempted to make them a bowl bubble team this week. That's how unimpressed I am with this football team. Now, if I do that, it's a death sentence, apparently, because so far this year, every time I put them on a bowl bubble, that team loses, and then that's just what happens. This week, I had Louisville, and they was a crazy heartbreaker to Boston College. I had no one. Pretty sure not only did I hurt Louisville's chances of winning a bowl, I think I might have fired Scott Satterfield in the future here. But when I look at this Oklahoma team, I still have faith in Brent Venables by far. I'm not nowhere near where I am on Mel Tucker level, like we talked about earlier in this conversation. And it comes down to clearly this. Mel Tucker's in year 3, Venables in year 1, regardless of the transfer portal. I know Mel Tucker's tried to build his team in the transfer portal, and I wouldn't be surprised if Oklahoma does that too, based on prestige and just the team name of being a Sooner. But recruiting is going to be a big deal with this team. Oklahoma is usually great with recruiting. I mean, they got Dylan Gabriel. He's one of the best quarterbacks in all the nation. Hopefully he comes back healthy. Brent Venables can build this team the way he does. He can build it with his defense. I mean, Clemson's defenses have been amazing for how many years now? If you look in the NFL, I wouldn't be shocked if you could look at every team's defense in the National Football League and there's at least one Clemson player on there. Wouldn't be shocked if you could do that. And it has to do a lot with Brent Venables. Now, I think in the next decade, we'll probably be able to say the same thing, given like 4 or 5 years from now, if they actually hold on to Brent Venables and say, I bet you can name a 32 defensive players in the NFL that are from Oklahoma. Because Brent Venables has that potential to do so. Oklahoma fans, you got to be patient. I know that's something you don't do. You haven't done it for a very long time, if ever. I know you're used to winning, but this team just might not have it this year. Be patient. Let him build this team, because if you're not patient, and if this, for some reason, Brent Venables goes away, he gets fired, guess what? You're going to get another new coach, and you're going to be in the same situation. You're still going to have to build. You're still going to have to recruit, and it's year 1 all over again. Relax.
Plus, he's gonna probably get a job in the SEC. He's going to come back and haunt you year in, year out. So,
right. I agree with you 100%. That's it.